Well, away from Asia, former South Sudanese rebel leader Riek Machar has been sworn in as the first vice president, sealing a peace deal aimed at ending 6 years of civil war. President Salva Kiir witnessed the moment at a ceremony at the State House in the capital, Juba. It is hoped that the new unity government will bring an end to the conflict that has killed about 400,000 people and displaced millions. However, previous deals were widely heralded only to fall apart. Saturday's ceremony is taking place just before the deadline for an agreement expired. Well, joining me to discuss this development in South Sudan is a political analyst, Mawan Mortat. Thank you so much for joining us at this time. What a historic moment, even though we've seen sort of this agreement come up in time past. But let me first ask you, what do you make of this agreement since it's coming after years of civil war? How significant is this?
I think it's very significant. I mean, people obviously have been anticipating it for a long time. This is a culmination of an agreement that was signed in Khartoum back in 2018. So it took them close to 1.5 years to get here. It seems to be more hopeful than last time. The last time Riek Machar was sworn in Juba was 2016, and the whole situation is spiraled down from at that point, and Riek had to leave once more. This time around, we hope that it will stick because we think that some changes have taken place on the ground, both on the Riek Machar side, the opposition, the armed opposition, the rebel side, as well as on the government side as well. Factors that we think would make them perhaps have more incentive to honor the agreement that they've signed up to.
Everyone, especially here in Africa, is really hoping that that agreement will, hold out in time. But the crucial issues here are the formation of a unified army, carving out state borders and creating a protection force to assure Machar's security. But how should that be resolved? Because these two parties are coming into form a government.
Well, I think that's the biggest challenge. I mean, that's just one of the few challenges. The challenges are huge, as I said. I mean, one reason really we think that this agreement was successful is because things have changed, as I said earlier. The first thing, that the regime in Khartoum has gone. The regime was seen as a spoiler in Sudan, in South Sudan. The fact that the regime has gone, we have a system in the north now, a new government in the north that is very cooperative, and that has really helped things from that side, from that point. But also on the other hand, the government is struggling to keep the economy going, is struggling to pay people, and is afraid that the discontent of the economy will increase, and that will put it also at a weaker point. And I think this is the reason that we believe has pushed the two sides to compromise, and hopefully also be more determined this time around to overcome the problems. One of them, of which you've just said now, the unification of the army. This is a sticking point because at the moment, Riek's forces, Riek Machar's forces have not come in. They are still being trained at the training centers. They are yet to join the government army that is dominated by Salva Kiir. Now, to some extent, we should see this as a good sign. The fact that Riek Machar has signed this in confidence that he will be protected by the government forces. This is really a goodwill from Riek Machar, and it also puts a lot of responsibility on Kiir Mayardit, on President Kiir, to honor the protection of Riek, as well as all his people there who have come in the hope that they will be safe in their own country. So the next step now would be to honor the agreements that include the incorporation of Riek's army into the South Sudanese Unified Army. And that's really a difficult task, but we hope that they will stick to it.
Well, but the deal was announced hours after the UN released a damning report accusing both sides of deliberately starving civilians during the struggle for power. And now, how do you see this playing out if you look at the personalities of these two individuals?
Obviously, as far as we South Sudanese are concerned, these are historical figures. They have their own ills. They have failed in many ways, but they also represent millions of South Sudanese. So while it's welcome what the UN is saying, human rights are at the heart of what's going on. Human rights, individual freedoms, freedom of expression, all these things are really critical. Obviously, the timing of the UN is not didn't happen accidentally. I would believe, from the positive, assuming a good intent, that it's designed to put more pressure on the two sides to come together, and that's, I think, is a good sign. However, yes, atrocities have been committed, and people have to be held responsible. What is good about this agreement? It contains a section that deals with justice, which is called a hybrid code. This hybrid code is going to be formed by senior judges from across the world, mainly from Africa, with a few representation of the South Sudanese. Their aim will have to be to make sure that people who have committed atrocities during the war will have to be made to face justice. So that is something that is coming. The US comments are good. The UN comments are good. I don't think they are in conflict with what is going on. They are in power. They are working in the same road as the peace agreement itself.
But looking at the population that we have there in South Sudan, and having about 82% living on less than $1, what challenges do you think awaits this government? And if you would look at the opportunities that South Sudan has to grow its economy and, of course, come out of this dark age?
Well, I mean, this is a very good question. Obviously, when South Sudan became independent from North Sudan after decades, more than 50 years of war against the North for its own independence, there was high hopes. There were high hopes for South Sudan. South Sudan has immense natural resources. It's got pristine rivers, it's got green lands, it's got parishes, it's got forests, it's got timber, it's got animal life, it's got minerals. So South Sudan has a huge potential to become a significant economy in Africa. What we are lacking is so far has been good leadership and stability in order to attract inward investment, in order to help our subsistence producers to move the economy forward. The oil has been an opportunity, but it has played, as it has in other countries, been mainly to a large extent a negative force, which has encouraged our leaders to loot and to fight over their individual wealth rather than the services of people. So the challenges down the line are huge. What we like at the moment is the fact that Riek Machar has returned. Whatever people think of Riek Machar, the people who are supporting the government, and whatever people think of the government from the side of Riek Machar, the good thing about it for the people of South Sudan is we might just be joining a new era of democracy where there is genuine opposition and each side will hold the other responsible to account. And therefore, hopefully, this will force people to be more accountable to the people and really work to lift South Sudanese out of poverty. South Sudan was regarded as a middle-income country at independence, and it's unfortunate that opportunity has been squandered. A lot of money has gone into fighting each other rather than building infrastructure, schools, and hospitals for our people.
Let's see how that will play out in the coming days. Political analyst Mawan Mortat, thank you so much for joining us on the news at this time.